the lower extremities of your body. So it was really an opportunity for me to...
Soccer balls.
Yeah, exactly. People were saying, hey, Bruce, you changed your style. I don't know, I think just the best of my style came out, you know, and the fact that it's a great role. It's like, if I was an actor, it's the role of a lifetime for me, and a lot of it has to do with the focus of the band and Bob Ezrin torturing me. That's really
he's one of the people that contributed some songwriting as well.
Oh,
could you tell us a little bit about some of the songwriting collaborations?
There weren't that many songwriting collaborations. We tried not to get involved this time with Guns for Hire. You know, there are songwriters out there that are really good, but I mean, at this point, if you can't write your own song or do it with some, you know, mates and do it with the people who count, then maybe it's time to pack it in. So we kept it to a very small circle of people. Ezrin was one of them, a couple of outside people. Vinnie Vincent from Days Gone By was involved, and now he's gone back to Days Gone By. But, you know, we did whatever we had to make the greatest album we could. We weren't concerned with, you know, who was involved as much as, is it going to make a great, true Kiss album? And, you know, that's basically what we did. I think we stayed real close to the bone, so to speak. The people who were involved are friends, except one.
A lot of people have written in and asked me to ask you what happened to the song that I think it was Paul co-wrote with Dave the Snake from Skid Row.
It's in the how should we put it? It's in the vaults, and it'll come out. It's just that we were in an enviable position because here we were with an album that we think is so good, it didn't need another track. Another track wouldn't have added anything to it. Maybe in some ways it would have just made it too big. So when it came time to mix, we listened and said, let's put this one on the shelf for now, and we will get back to it. And you know, you'll hear it. It's a great tune.
Cool. Okay.
You know your homework, though. That's for sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Okay, well, Paul and Bruce, and we're going to talk a little bit now about the lyrics on Revenge. Now, they deal in the main with sex, and
well,
I was just wondering,
partially.
Well, we'll talk about the other ones in a moment, but I just wondered, have you found new ways of dealing with a tried and tested subject?
Well, if you're creative, you can find new ways. I think if you care, you'll find new ways to defy gravity.
That's a good answer. There's also a very romantic ballad on the album, Every Time I Look at You, which was written by Paul and Bob Ezrin. Now that seems to me as showing a very romantic approach. Was that like a more personal song for you?
Well, when you get them with the ballad, then you get them in bed. Give them that and they go, oh, and then you get the other things going. You know, it's nice to be able to write a ballad as long as the ballad isn't one of those mushy, wimpy, funeral dirge-like power pop ballads that some bands do. Some bands, who will remain nameless, take these like up-tempo songs about screwing in the back of the car and they slow it down to half-tempo and then sing about a girl who just left them. You know, and it's sappy stuff. I mean, Every Time I Look at You is a song that was written on an acoustic guitar. It's much closer, I think, to something like Wild Horses, like a Stones kind of thing, than it is to some of that pap that you hear passed off as ballads. I mean, anything can be a ballad now. I'd rather hear ballads like As Tears Go By, you know, the Stones kind of stuff, or Zeppelin ballads. That's a little cooler than that mush that you hear sometimes.
Now, Gene, there was a couple of songs on the album that I felt had a kind of religious imagery, Unholy and Thou Shalt Not.
Oh boy.
They're obviously from two very different perspectives. What was your inspiration for those songs?
Archbishop Simmons.
Archbunker Simmons.
Every couple of years, you know, there's got to be a church enemies list. Every couple of years they put me on top. When we first started touring, I was just some kid out of New York City, was glad to be on stage wearing makeup and doing crazy things. And all of a sudden we played Canada, and there's a newspaper that came out that said Gene Simmons is the devil. Going, oh great, just what I need. And so then all of a sudden in the South of America, people started walking around with big burning crosses and pointing to me, and I'd say,
it only
it's
was
not
Gene.
Me.
It wasn't Kiss. It had nothing to do with the whole
nothing
band.
to do. No,
it wasn't. They weren't doing this about Kiss. It was all.
It was all.
Yeah.
It was all.
Archbishop Simmons.
So I'm here to tell you that some of these songs are not necessarily religious. They're just trying to point out some points. Unholy makes the point that guys with horns on their heads and devils and all that stuff. I don't believe in that crap. The truth is that the things that we do to each other in the name of love
In the name of love.
are far worse than any devil, than any hell that
Far more
anybody
real,
could
of
create.
course.
Absolutely. There's a line in the song that says, "You send your children to war to serve bastards and whores." There's no worse hell than that. So unholy is really just a part of all of us. And so anyway, thou shalt not. It's explained very simply by a man with a collar walks over and says, "Kindly reconsider the sins of your past." I said, "Mister, you can kindly kiss my ass." It's a nice way of saying, leave me alone, let me live my life the way I want to.
Cool. Okay.
Thank
well,
you so much.
Thank you for that. Yes, we're going to talk some more, but I'm right up to date now with the UK tour. How's that been going for you? How does it feel to be
Great,
back?
fab,
Been
gear.
magic. It's been great. You know, I think there was a period of time where we were caught in this dilemma of coming over here, and fans were saying, "Well, we know you can't bring a show, but come anyway. You know, we just want to see you." And that's okay until you get here, and then all of a sudden, you know, rightfully so, people go, "Well, it's okay, but where's the show?" So I think we reached a point where we realized if we can't come over here and do what people expect from us, we shouldn't come over anymore. And we've been here a few times where I think people were disappointed, and rightfully so, but we were, you know, we didn't know whether we should come over, not come over. I think this show kind of shows what we're doing at this point, and it's all uphill from here. I mean, it only gets better, and we're real proud of what we're doing, and I think the fans are too.
You know, for us it's worth saying this. We're not trying to kiss your butt or anything, but the truth is when we were growing up, England was our inspiration. There are a lot of bands that keep talking about how Kiss changed your life. That's all well and good.
This is
Thank you. But
this is the motherland for
this is
us.
it.
This is where it all started.
when we grew up, from the Beatles on,
I mean, you may talk about, I mean, God bless Muddy Waters and Willie Dixon and you know, Lightning Hopkins and everybody, but I'll tell you the truth, for us, it didn't start there. First we got into Zeppelin and Jeff
Humble
Beck,
Pie.
Humble Pie. That's the stuff we're still listening to. And then we found our way back from there and then forward. But I mean, in America too, when we first came out, people thought of us as, they thought we were from England, you know, and we were proud of it because we never wanted to be like the Jefferson Airplane or those, you know,
Slobs.
Those slobs. I mean, that's not what we're about.
And for the European viewers, could you tell us a little bit about the staging and production that you're using on this tour?
people should, this is probably a little vague for some people, the stage that the British fans saw here in England was the last American tour, the 40-foot high Sphinx that we came out of the mouth. Leon, we call him, Leon Sphinx. The eyes shoot out lasers and bombs and stuff. It's just a massive show. But there's a brand new show being built in America right now, which we're going to start touring with August 31st. And that's going to be a worldwide tour, and we're coming back. We're going to bring that
All
sucker
of
right
Europe.
here.
Yeah, we're doing all of Europe with
That's
that
what I
one.
wanted to know.
And I mean, we were so fired up after doing this, you know, bunch of dates here that we said, in 8 months we should have some time after doing America and doing the Orient, and we said, let's come back again, you know, and let's make up for some lost time. And this is just a taste of things to come. You know, this tour is just the beginning. What we come back with is going to blow everybody away.
Okay, well there you go. You heard it on Headbangers Ball. Kiss are coming back to Europe and the whole continent, and we will run the tour dates as soon as they're available, so watch out for those. Very quickly, what sort of set are you playing on this tour? Is it are you bringing out some really old stuff?
Yeah.
You mean the music on this tour?
Yeah.
Yes, the music.
Yeah.
Parasite, 100,000 Years. Some stuff, Firehouse. Stuff we haven't played in 15 years.
We're doing about 23 songs, and when we do the next tour, we're hoping to do about 30 songs.
Wow.
So, you know, some bands get into playing medleys and things like that. Once you have, you know, the songs to choose from, we're just going to play everything. I mean, there's probably going to be an acoustic, you know, some acoustic songs. There's going to be, I mean, it's going to be a real night to remember.
Great, okay. Well, we're going to end by you. And the first question comes from Vanessa Warwick of London. That's me, I'm a viewer as well. I've got something I've always wanted to ask you, and that is, you must have, when you had your makeup on, it must have been like a real ritual to put it on. And what I've always wanted to ask you is, how did you kind of replace that as a means of like psyching yourselves up for a show?
The ritual is the same. We still dance around the fire and walk on the hot coals and chant in many tongues. And then we go out. We just don't put the makeup on. But we do the usual thing. We grease the pig and chase it around the room.
And then I get to slit its throat.
Yeah.
But seriously, was it like almost like a tribal
It's,
thing?
yeah, but it's no different now.
Right.
You know, I mean, you're a warrior and you're putting on, you get together in the dressing room, you chat for a little while and you psych yourself up.
That's the pig running around the room, that sound you hear.
Yeah, and then you go out and you do it, I mean, it's the calm before the storm.
Okay. Now, actually, first proper viewer's question. I'm just looking down here. Excuse me. Comes from Morten Olsen of Norway. Hi, Morten. He wanted to know the Unholy single and video is the first with Gene on lead vocals since I Love It Loud from 1982. He wants to know, why did it take you so long to come back on lead vocals?
Because I've been writing horrendous songs for 10 years. That's why. And Paul Stanley's been good enough to be there. And he was never square, where I was off in Disneyland. I was off making horrible movies and running record companies when I should have been in KISS.
He's made a few good movies.
A few good movies, pardon me. And
not the one with the girdle and the woman's clothes on.
No, or the girdle that's on.
I really liked Red Surfing USA though.
That's not the one. See that? That's the crap I get. And to answer your question, the reason the songs haven't been as good as they should have been is maybe I wasn't all there. And all I can say is I'm sorry. I didn't know I was lost.
But I'm found. I'm born again.
He's back in this world.
I'm going to throw up on your sister.
Next question comes from Jonas Carlson from Sweden. Maybe direct this one to Bruce. What is your best and worst memory from all your tours throughout the year?
Best and worst. Well, the best was joining the band, just the first time on stage, even though it was an amazing situation. All of a sudden we were in full gear, running around, playing. And a couple of spot gigs like Madison Square Garden, where I always wanted to play the Garden, where I saw Hendrix and Jimmy Page. And I guess, obviously the worst experience was the Eric thing, but we don't need to bring that up again. That was obviously, a friend like that, something like that to happen. But this band's it's been a lot of fun. It's been 8 years of loud amps, and I'm real proud of where we are right now.
And also Jonas wants to know, how do you guys relax when you're not on tour or in the studio?
Prostate massages.
He took my cue. Everybody,
tell me what you love to brag.
Everybody's got different sort of hobbies. One of them is making sure there's always a pretty girl by your side.
Thank you.
And helping you walk.
Helping me walk. Everybody's different. We may stick together like glue when we're at KISS, but when we're outside, everybody's got different interests. I like cookies. And a lot of them. And my
cookies
son.
and muffins.
Right.
And I love muffins. And I guess the most important thing for me right now in my life is my little young god who walks around.
Yes!
My son Nicholas, who's my life.
Has fatherhood changed you?
It makes you think of somebody. Yeah, it changes you, I think, in a good way. It makes you realize that there's somebody else in the world besides just you. Mm-hmm. It makes you a little bit less selfish. But if anything, it's made me just a bigger son of a bitch than I already am. But otherwise, I think of him morning, noon, and night.
Lovely. That's nice to know. Very quickly, loads of people wrote in, when might you come back with Kiss Alive 3?
It's so difficult for us to, because when you've scaled a mountain twice, and Kiss Alive and Kiss Alive 2, I think to us and to many people are really important kind of like monuments to live rock and roll and to the band. We want Alive 3 to be everything that it can be. And at the same time, we're always trying to figure, well, how do we make it special? Just to go in and record some more live tracks isn't enough. We're just waiting to see where things go, but of course there'll be an Alive 3. I think we're not ready to do it yet, to be honest with you. It means so much to us that we have to make sure it's right, and I think we have at least another studio album in us before we start thinking of it.
But what we are doing right now is we're finishing up. Quiet, Spike! What we are doing right now is
Carry on.
but what we are doing right now is preparing Exposed 2. Some of the footage is being shot on this European tour right now.
And that should be out in a few months. Actually, as it's looking now, there's going to be Exposed 2 Parts 1 and 2. There's so much great footage that it's actually going to be 2 separate videos that you can go pick up, and both of them are going to have really some amazing stuff. I mean, way back to the beginning, plus some other people involved, and it's going to be a real chronological history of the band, so we look forward to that.
Okay. Well, that's it. That's all we've got time for.
A couple of outside people. Vinnie Vincent from Days Gone By was involved, and now he's gone back to Days Gone By. But, you know, we did whatever we had to make the greatest album we could. We weren't concerned with, you know, who was involved as much as, is it going to make a great, true Kiss album? And, you know, that's basically what we did. I think we stayed real close to the mission because here we were with an album that we think is so good, it didn't need another track. Another track wouldn't have added anything to it. Maybe in some ways it would have just made it too big. So when it came time to mix, we listened and said, let's put this one on the shelf for now, and we will get back to it. And it, you know, you'll hear it. It's a great tune.
Cool. Okay.
You know your homework, though, that's for sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Okay, well, could you tell us a little bit about some of the songwriting collaborations?
There weren't that many songwriting collaborations. We tried not to get involved this time with Guns for Hire. You know, there are songwriters out there that are really good, but I mean, at this point, if you can't write your own song or do it with some, you know, mates and do it with the people who count, then maybe it's time to pack it in. So we kept it to a very small circle of people. Ezrin was one of them, own, so to speak. The people who were involved are friends. Except one.
A lot of people have written in and asked me to ask you what happened to the song that I think it was Paul co-wrote with Dave the Snake from Skid Row.
It's in the how should we put it? It's in the vaults, and it'll come out. It's just that we were in an enviable position
from the lower extremities of your body. So it was really an opportunity for me to...
Sock your balls.
Yeah, exactly. People were saying, hey, Bruce, you changed your style. I don't know, I think just the best of my style came out, you know, and the fact that it's a great role, it's like if I was an actor, it's the role of a lifetime for me, and a lot of it has to do with the focus of the band and Bob Ezrin torturing me. That's really
and he's one of the people that contributed some songwriting as well.
Oh,
Could
yeah.
you